This is an exciting day for us, and it's a nice opportunity for me to add a few words. Here we are opening this new center, the Microsoft Center, and it certainly means a lot for us who work here. It's a building, it's a facility, but it's more than that. I think it gives us the opportunity to help, hopefully, to contribute in a constructive way to addressing an important problem. You know, the youth unemployment problem is obviously a problem across Europe. It would be wrong, though, to say that it's only a problem in Europe. It is, in many respects, a global problem. We see it in the United States, we see it across North America, we see it in countries like Australia and New Zealand, we see it in Latin America. Around the world, it has been a global recession. And as the commissioner put it so well, it is a recession that had a particularly harsh impact on the younger people of the planet. And as the economy continues to recover, we need to continue to take steps to address the youth unemployment problem. The statistics are now well understood, and I think that's incredibly important because one cannot solve a problem unless people first focus on it and understand it. But it is now clear here across Europe, roughly 1 in 4 of the continent's young people are unemployed. That is a problem, but it's more than a problem, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy because at the same time that there are so many young people without jobs, there are so many jobs without skilled people to fill them. The European Commission itself has estimated that by 2015, next year, there will be over 1 million jobs across the continent in the ICT sector that will be unfilled because there will not be people with the right skills to address them. That's why, as President Barroso said, the Grand Coalition on Digital Jobs is of such importance. I was pleased when I was here last year to have the opportunity to announce some important partnerships that we at Microsoft were taking. Partnerships with 3 groups that have done important work over the last year: the European Youth Forum, Junior Achievement Young Enterprise, and Telecenter Europe. Last year, we announced that we were making grants of $100,000 per year to each of these 3 groups, and this year we're renewing those grants again. And that will give them the opportunity to help address this problem. All of this fits into a broader initiative that we undertook at Microsoft last year that we call YouthSpark. It's a global initiative that aims to help young people by giving them opportunities to acquire the skills they will need in order to be successful. Our goal when we announced it was a big goal. We said we wanted to reach 300 million young people worldwide over 3 years. And after the first year, now behind us, we reached over 100 million people globally. And of those 100 million, over 23 million were here in Europe. And we are going to build on that initiative and reach another 46 million people in Europe this year and next year combined. That, we hope, will help. But we're also more and more focused on addressing the policy priorities that the European Commission has established in the context of the Grand Coalition on Digital Jobs. And there's 3 particular areas where we have felt that we hopefully can contribute something that will make a difference. And what we're really here this morning to do, in part, is to celebrate the new steps that we're going to take to address these 3 priorities. The first one is a priority that is near and dear to our heart, to be true. It's providing early-stage computer science education. This is something that we are very passionate about around the world. We're very excited about here in Europe, and I am especially pleased that we're going to bring that effort to this very building and this facility this summer. We'll be participating in the EU Coding Camp, and there will be young people from across Europe here this summer learning computer science in partnership with Microsoft and SchoolNet to do that work. That is one step that we think will make a difference. The second commission priority that we're trying to help address relates to entrepreneurship and building entrepreneurship into the skill set of young people across Europe. And that too we'll be able to address in this facility and in this room. This summer, in partnership with Junior Achievement Young Enterprise, we'll be having a leadership and entrepreneurship camp. So similarly, young people from across Europe can come here and learn together and learn from each other and learn from the people in Junior Achievement about the critical entrepreneurship skills that can help make them more successful in the future. And finally, there is the area where we think we can probably do more than any other, perhaps, and that's in the European Commission's call to action, the call to those of us in the private sector to do more to provide internships and apprenticeships for young people. We've tried to answer that call in the last year. We've created 4,500 internships and apprenticeships across Europe at Microsoft. And what we're doing today is announcing that we will double our commitment to provide young people with these opportunities. By 2 years from now, by 2016, Microsoft will be offering 9,000 paid internships and apprenticeships to young people across Europe. They'll have the opportunity to go work with people at Microsoft, to add to their income, but I think most importantly, they will have the opportunity to help acquire firsthand the kinds of skills that we hope will help them pursue careers based on digital technology. That, we hope, will help not only them, but inspire other young people as well. One of the things you learn is that life is a journey, and life is a journey not only for people, it's a journey for companies as well. And this day, this facility, this event is actually an important moment for Microsoft's journey here in Europe. It was just over 2 decades ago that I joined Microsoft as an employee. My first job was in Paris. It was at the company's European headquarters where I worked for my first 3 years. I was one of the older employees at Microsoft when I joined because I was 34. It was a young company. It was a young industry. And when I joined 20 years ago, Microsoft had 4,500 employees in the entire world. Even though Windows and Office had already become very successful, the truth is there weren't as many people who worked at the company. And of course, Microsoft's journey in Europe has been well documented, and it has had its technology successes, and it has also been a journey in Brussels itself. When I joined, there was no office like this. There was an office near the airport that had some salespeople, and that was it. I remember 10 years after I joined, 10 years ago today, basically spending the early spring here in Brussels and spending some of that time with Steve Ballmer, our CEO, someone who spent some of his early years as a child here in Brussels because his father worked for Ford Motor Company here in Brussels. And we, of course, had a lot of meetings and worked hard to try to reach an agreement with the European Commission, and that was a failure at the time. But it was a failure that made us older and wiser. And here I am on this trip 10 years after that, and my first stop on the trip was yesterday in Helsinki, where I had the opportunity to welcome some of the more than 4,500 new employees who will join Microsoft from Nokia's devices and services business. And just think about that for a moment. In the next month or two, Microsoft will have more employees today in Finland alone than it did in the entire planet when I started 20 years ago. That, I think, brings to life the journey we've been on, not just to grow, but to really put down more roots here in Europe itself. And I think for us, the putting down of these roots is hopefully an opportunity to continue to grow and be successful as a company, but it's also an opportunity to do more than that. It's an opportunity, we hope, to become a stronger part of Europe as a whole. So for us today, it's exciting to move to a new building. But I hope that when we look back, we will say that this was more than a new building, because it's also a foundation to reach a new generation, to take new steps that can give that generation new hope. And I hope we'll look back and we'll say that that new generation followed in the footsteps of other young people in our industry, but did even more than we ever did possible. Because I believe this new generation has the opportunity to help create a new Europe, a more successful Europe that will be part of a new world with a brighter future for all of us. Thank you very much.